Greeting ma'am, this is Taslima from first year MA English. I am here to give the summary analysis of Sultana's Dream written by Rokeya Sakhawat Hussain. Rokeya Sakhawat Hussain, also known as Begum Rokeya, she was a prominent Bengali writer, social reformer and advocate for women's rights in colonial India. And she is best known for her efforts to empower women through education and literature. Her most famous work is the novella Sultana's Dream. Sultana's Dream is a short fiction which was written in the year 1905 and first published in India Ladies magazine. The novella is narrated by the protagonist Sultana, who through a dream finds herself transported to a place called Ladyland. In this land, this dream world, women have made a remarkable progress in science and technology, having harnessed the solar power and created a society free from crime and violence. Sultana is introduced to Ladyland, advanced and harmonious way of life where women occupy roles traditionally reserved for men such as political leadership, education and governance. Men in Ladyland are scheduled in a place known as Mardana, where they are not allowed to participate in the public life. They are primarily responsible for domestic chores and taking care of the home, reversing the traditional gender roles seen in the real world. The story's central theme revolves around the idea that the empowerment and education of women can lead to a more equitable and progressive society. In Sultana's Dream, Rokeya envisioned a utopian world where women are not only equal but in many aspects superior to men. By doing so, she challenges the patriarchal norms of her time and explores the potential consequences of dismantling traditional gender roles. Rokeya's work is not merely a role of a gender reversed society, it is also a critique of the oppressive gender norms that have historically limited women's opportunities and agencies. This novella serves as a vehicle to advocate for women's rights, education, autonomy, and furthermore, the story explores the potential for technological advancement and sustainable living in a world led by women. The use of solar power in Ladyland symbolizes the innovative capabilities of women when they are given the opportunity to excel in traditionally male dominated fields. This story reaches its conclusion when the narrator abruptly awakens and finds herself back in a confined world in India, where women are subjugated by patriarchal norms. The stark contrast between Ladyland and the reality serve as a poignant reminder of the gender inequality and oppression that women have faced in our society. Rokeya Sakhawat Hussain, uh, Sultana's Dream, powerful feminist science fiction narrative that offers a visionary perspective of gender equality and social change. Sultana's Dream encourages readers to envision and work towards a more just and equitable future for all. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm R. Gayatri from First MA English. I'm here to address on the critical analysis of Sultana's Dream, written by the author Rokeya Sakhawat Hussain, also known as Rokeya Begum. Sultana's Dream was written in the year 1905, first published in Indian Ladies magazine, and later republished in the book format in the year 1908. The story began as an exercise for Rokeya to show her husband her mastery of English language. The story begins with the narrator thinking lazily of the condition of women in India. The narrator is unnamed. Sultana is the title, the female equivalent of Sultana, and not a first name. She says that she is not sure whether she fell asleep or not, but knows that she fell as she were awake. A friend, Sister Sarah, enters the room and wishes her good morning, although it is night time. Sarah asks her to come outside and walk in the garden, and the narrator discovers that it is indeed light outside and the streets are filled with people. The narrator is ready to be embarrassed, afraid she will encounter a man while she is walking in the street in the broad daylight, an action that is taboo for women at the time, but strangely there are no men out. Passers-by laugh at her in a language that she cannot understand. Sister Sarah says her that they are saying she looks very mannish, that she acting timid like men do. The narrator does not understand her, and suddenly she realizes that she is not walking with her friend at all, and this woman is a complete stranger to her. She tells the women, still referred to as Sister Sarah, that she is uncomfortable walking around without a veil on. Sister Sarah tells her she need not to worry about her veil. She is in Ladyland and does not worry about encountering a man while unveiled. The narrator looks around and sees that Ladyland is like a garden. The streets are filled with flowers. Sister Sarah says that Calcutta could look like this too if the men in the city wanted it to. The narrator asks where all the men are, and Sister Sarah explains that in Ladyland, men are kept indoors inside Zenna just as women are kept indoors in India. The narrator says that it is not safe for women to come out of the Zenna's women's quarters because they are naturally weak, and Sister Sarah replies that this is only true when men or wild animals are out in the street. She compares the idea by keeping women indoors while men roam free to locking up the sane and letting the insane loose because men are more capable of harm. The narrator explains she has no choice in keeping to the Zennas. Women have to voice in their own affairs in India. Everything is decided by men whose strength makes them lord and masters. Sister Sarah argues that lions are stronger than men, but that does not mean lions can rule the world. She says women in India has lost their rights by ignoring their best interest. The narrator and Sister Sarah sits together. Sister Sarah begins to embroider, explaining that although this is all women have to do in the Zenna, women in Ladyland do this work. Rather than giving it to men who do not have the patience to thread a needle, she explains that she is able to do both domestic work of women and the office work of men because women are more efficient. Men, on the other hand, can stretch the 2 hours of work into 7 hours by smoking and talking rather than giving down to business. Sister Sarah also tells the narrator that in Ladyland there are no epidemics or even mosquito bites. It is rare for anyone there to die young. She shows the narrator their solar technologies as well. They use solar energy to cook their food. She says these new technologies were developed some years ago after their country's queen mandated that all women must be educated and barred them from getting married until they were at least 21 years old. Women universities invented ways to draw water from the sky, which also put an end to excess rain and storms and energy from the sun. While women were inventing new technologies, the men of the countries were focused on military strength and laughed at women's inventions. The women sought revenge, though the lady principal of the 2 women universities advised them not to respond by words but by their actions and by their brain and by their deeds and by their smartness. The opportunity came when refugees from another country sought political asylum in theirs. In response to their political asylum by refugees of another country, the neighboring country's king declared war on their country. All men of the Ladyland went to fight the enemy, but said all were defeated. One of the lady principal came with the plan to defeat the enemy, but said all the remaining men must be confined to Zennas. The next day, the lady principal, along with the students, marched to the battlefield and directed all the sun's rays towards the advancing army. Such the enemy retreated. The enemies were defeated. Since then, says Sister Sarah, no one has dared try to invade Ladyland, and women have ruled while men remain in Zennas. The queen sent a letter out explaining that men would be called out again if their service are required. So far as it has been 10 years and they have not been needed. Sister Sarah explains that this system is called as Mardana. Marda is the Urdu word for man. Ever since the Mardana system, there has been no crime and no need for criminal justice. Sister Sarah continues to explain how the women of Ladyland saved labor. Fields are tiled by machine. There were no railroads or street accidents either. A sprinkler system keeps everyone cool in summer, while the stored solar energy keeps them warm in winter. Their religion is based on love and truth. No one is punished with death. Any offenders are simply banished, though they are forgiven if they repent. The narrator asks if she can meet the queen, and Sister Sarah oblongly assembles a hydrogen-powered air car that takes them to her. The queen greets them both and tells the narrator about their trade. Ladyland trades only with women of other countries, not with men. They prefer to seek knowledge rather than wealth and try to enjoy what nature provides them. The narrator taunts Ladyland, but then the narrator wakes up to discover that she is back in her chair in India. Ladyland was all a dream. Hossein won accolades for the Sultana's Dream and her other works. The story is a significant work of early Indian feminism as well as science fiction. It is idea of education for all women and innovations this would bring were radical for the time period. Hossein revised the importance of education for women in later novel Padmarak. Sultana's Dream is a short science fiction story by Rokeya Sakawat Hossein, also known as Rokeya Begum. The story began as an exercise for Rokeya to show her husband her mastery of English language. It details an unnamed narrator's dream of Indian feminist utopia. The story is first known for Indian science fiction. Hossein was an early feminist and founder of Calcutta's first Islamic school for girls as well as Muslim women's organization. Her Sultana's Dream depicts a dream sequence, but it is not simply a sequence for entertainment. It rather speaks for a transformation in the society to bring women out of the boundaries which forbids them and suppresses them from their freedom, and it tries to bring women out of the boundaries of four walls of the home where women are confined to look after the household works and only children, and they are not allowed to focus on themselves.
Hello everyone, this is Mary Jasmita Rose from First MA English. Today I am going to discuss how to apply radical theory in Sultana's Dream written by Rokeya Begum. Radical feminist theory is basically a type of feminist theory which deals with the domination and the oppression of women, and it also suggests to break out from the stereotypical system that putting the women down. This is a quote taken from the book Sultana's Dream. Here the speaker is confessing that she felt very awkward to walk in the midst of the road, uh, in the state where she is unrevealing her face, she is opening up her identity to the society. So-called Sister Sarah suggests that here nobody will judge you based on your appearance or your unveiled face, because there's no men here. Men are not going to judge you or put you down as what you always face in your reality, which means the real world. And she also says that she's not used to the she also conveys that she's not used to revealing her face, revealing her identity to anyone except her family. But then she was put in a position, she was given freedom in this ladyland, so they felt it is very virtue to stay in the ladyland. And here it is the best example for the radical feminist theory, as how the normal system which was dominated by the men is like they need to cover their face, need to cover their identity, they should not show their face to anyone. There's a lot of limitation and restriction for them. But then the radical feminists has suggest they are breaking out from the stereotypical norms which are putting them down, and they are unrevealing a face, unrevealing the identity, like how radical feminists suggest. This is one of the best example to state the radical feminist theory from the text. So here she mentioning about the custom of women being put in the zanana in the real world, and men are walking outside the streets freely. But then just quite opposite to the real incident in the Ladyland, men are shut down here and women are allowed to go anywhere, everywhere as they want. So this is the system. This is some, what is it? A strategy or a method that just opposite to the real world and just opposite to the patriarchy. But I somehow, some extent, it seems like it is matriarchy where women are dominant. It doesn't seem like equality to myself as uh, the men and women are not treated equally. Only in the worst part they are treated equally. Like men are put them in tanana, men are shut them down. Then women are also doing the same in the ladyland. So there is no difference. There is no one here actually doing the right thing. So in the real world, men are dominated. Men are very patriarchy. Men suppressing women. And here in the ladyland, women suppressing men. Women are dominant. So the question mark is that is a really ladyland come under the equality system or matriarchy system? But then it is just opposite to the male dominance. So it is a best suitable example for the radical feminist theory. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Thank you.
This is Komal Harshita. I'm going to talk about Sultana's Dream by Rokeya Sakwat Hossein. The major themes are it is a satiric fantasy which is published originally in English in the Indian Ladies Magazine of Madras and it considered a part of Bengali literature. It depicts a feminist utopia in which run everything and take the place of men. Crime is eliminated since men were considered responsible for all of it. The religion is one of love and truth. Purity is held above all. The first one we are going to see about the feminism. Sultana's Dream is a radical depiction of methodical society where female rule leads to peace, equality, and prosperity. When the male influence and male power structures are eliminated, society is able to evolve into a utopia. Progress flourishes and technological advancement becomes immense, which the certain of our cars, self-irrigation, land, air, travel, and the wealth of resource. The female society experiences no violence and has no need to turn to oppression. Instead, the women exist as equal without power hierarchies and are able to cohabit with both each other and the land in a. The next is female education. Ladyland feminist utopia emerged as a direct result of accessible female education when the queen passes an order that all women should be educated. Women are able to receive a proper scientific education and being to turn their attention towards innovations. After the order is passed, universities for women are built, where women like the lady principal who invents the sun heat harnessing machines and the lady principal who creates the water balloons are able to fully rise to their intellectual potential. The stories on education reflect Rokeya's own deviation to female education and empowerment. Critique of patriarchal society. Sultana's Dream in portraying an idyllic all-female society criticizes male power structure including potential religious and social instruction that were all male dominated at the time of the story composition. Religion in Ladyland, for example, is focused on love and truth, which implies that religion is regular. Patriarchal society is the opposite and fails to embody these values. The explicit mention of certain items such as the Koh-i-Noor and Peacock Throne make the story criticism even more explicit as they overly refers the Mughal dynasty and condemn the Mughal Empire focuses on extravagant riches and military welfare. The next we are going to see about science and innovation. Ladyland is propelled by progressive scientific innovation which is only possible with the removal of oppressive male power structure the women eliminate by restricting the men to the wilderness. The engineer flying cars, the install plumbing in home, and even control the weather with large water balloons that can dispense water when necessary. The women uses of science is also a criticism of the male dominant scientific field of the time, which primarily used science in ways that harmed the natural world or strengthened modes of enacting violence upon others.